World of Tanks Blitz Reforged. It is the biggest update to ever come to World of Tanks Blitz. Is it a good update? Well, that's very debatable. I mean, the player base has 27,000 dislikes and 11,000 upvotes, so that means two-thirds of the player base absolutely hates Reforged. So, yeah, that's quite a bit. The 11,000 upvotes are probably the younger audience, and the 27,000 dislikes are probably the older audience. People that, you know, don't like change. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not against change. I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. I am never against change. Change is good, right? There's a lot of people out there, like older generation people, are like, oh my God, where are the physical buttons on my cars now? I'm like, bro, we use touchscreens. They're nice. Sure, it might be a little annoying at first to buy a new car and be like, oh, I don't have buttons or dials anymore. But after, a year or two of using a new car and being able to use a touchscreen and being able to access all these different cool features, it's better, right? Look at the interior of a new car versus an old one. They built them better in the past. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. New Toyotas get just as many miles as old Toyotas. It's just a fact. So, yes, planned obsolescence is probably a thing, but at the end of the day, if you take care of a car, it's going to last a while. The point being, a lot of the older player base are definitely the player base that are the ones saying they're going to quit Reforged if Wargaming goes through with it, right? We can read here, as a day one player after 10 years, I think it's finally the end of the line with me. And that's most likely the player base that is planning to quit after Reforged is the older player base. The player base that has been playing the game since day one, and they're like, okay, this isn't what I'm used to, so because of that, I'm out. And that's understandable. I'm not here to criticize any of those players, but what I am here to say is that realistically, the most vocal player base are going to be the player base that have played this game for the most amount of time. Now, I've obviously played Blitz for a very long amount of time, and I'm not against change. I think change is good. I think going into the future is good. You can't live in the past because the past doesn't change, right? So the question is this a good future for Blitz? And I don't know. Part of me wants to say yes, and part of me wants to say no. Because here's the thing you have to remember. Right now, Blitz is not growing in players. Even before Reforged information, Blitz was not growing in players. In fact, it was slowly decreasing. Same for World of Tanks PC. And Blitz has been slowly decreasing in players for about 5 years now. That's quite a long time. And yeah, it's definitely noticeable, right? Peak Blitz was around 2018, 2019, in my opinion. That was peak Blitz. That's when we had proper balancing in the game. There weren't stupid consumables which overinflate the steamrolls and the turbo battles in the game. There weren't, stupid autoloaders that broke the game. The 50B only had 3 shells. The 4005 had 3 shells, right? That was peak Blitz. That's when the game was balanced better. It's when it was simpler. And for some reason, Wargaming doesn't understand that, but instead they just keep rebalancing. They keep adding stupid mechanics that we don't want in the game. And that's where we are today. And it's why, in my eyes, the player base has slowly been decreasing. But it's been because of the fact that Wargaming has been adding these new mechanics. They've been making the game faster for an aging player base that doesn't want things to get faster. So that's kind of what I see as the decrease in players. So how does Wargaming fix this? Well, what I've been saying in the past for World of Tanks PC, and the same thing for Blitz, is that Wargaming needs to attract younger audiences. Because you need to attract younger players so that they grow old with the newer version of the game. It's just like GTA 5, right? We've had GTA 5 for 12 years now, almost 13. I've been making a lot of content on the game on my other channel. And with GTA 5, obviously, it's been an entire generation, right? Like, there are content creators who started posting content on GTA 5 that are 30 years old now. They started when they were 20, and they are now 33, 34 years old. If you were 25 when GTA 5 first came out and you were a content creator, you are now almost 40. That is insane to think about. So, I'm 22, and GTA 6 is coming out when I'll be 23. That'll hopefully be my time and my generation to shine and post content on that game, right? And the thing about World of Tanks Blitz is it's the same thing. We have a whole generation of people that have been playing Blitz, and now we're going to have a whole, hopefully, new generation of people that are going to be playing Blitz Reforged. That's what I'm hoping that Reforged does, is it brings a new generation and audience to Blitz, while still retaining most of the old players. And that's what Wargaming needs to balance properly. They need to balance the game in a way that they are able to attract new players, that they are able to keep and retain those new players, and they are also able to keep a lot of the older players and mix it together. That's really what you need. Because I'll be honest, the current version of Blitz we're playing, it's definitely got some problems, right? We can all agree. It's outdated. The graphics do look good, but I think that the game does need to be a bit less complicated for new players. And there needs to be mechanics that engage younger audiences into wanting to play the game more. So I'm not against that. And I think that if Wargaming does Reforged properly, it can attract newer audiences. So the question is, with what they're doing, will the game grow in players over time, right? Obviously, when Reforged is first released, there will probably be a dip in players. There will be a massive surge in players on day one. You'll have a bunch of players that come into the game that play it, that mess around with Reforged, and then they'll decide whether they think that they want to continue playing the game or not. And then after that, you'll see a dip in the players because obviously all those players coming in, only so many of them are going to continue playing. The question is, over a 5-year span, will there be a continue growing of players or will it go down? And that's really going to make or break this game. If Wargaming screws up Reforged and it's negatively received even for newer players, you're just going to see a downward trend, plus the already lost players because of the new version of the game. And at that point, the game will die. That will be simple, right? If you continue to lose players after Reforged is released, plus the massive amount of players you've caused to leave because of the update, the game will die. But if Wargaming does Reforged right, and it actually causes newer players to start trying out the game, liking the game, and it causes newer players to start wanting to play it, then you're going to see a resurgence in players. You're going to see newer, younger audiences playing the game, their friends playing the game. And that's exactly what the case with Blitz was, right? I started playing Blitz when I was like 13 years old. And because of that, I grew with the game. But the question is, will we get new 13-year-olds that will now continue playing the game? And that's the problem. That's what Wargaming is missing right now. So if they are able to solve that problem, if they are able to fix that gap, I think Blitz will be in a better state, and it's why I'm not fully against Reforged. Now, Wargaming needs to do more than just release Reforged. In my opinion, they need to work with content creators, and they need to post guides, they need to post tutorials, they need to post videos on Reforged to help the players get better. And I'm really hoping that I can at least convince them to do some videos with me on that. We'll have to see what happens, but at the end of the day, they need to work better with their community on updates and information and everything like that. Because I'm not going anywhere, and as much as they can try to dislike me or whatever it is, I am a very large voice in the community, and they need to take advantage of their content creators if they want newer players to learn about the game. Whenever I play a game, I watch content on it to see if there's something I'm not doing correct or something else, right? Like, it's crazy to me how many people there are that don't know information about Blitz that is widely available because they don't watch YouTube or things like that. And Wargaming can literally make you watch a video when you load into the game about a news thing or that. So there definitely needs to be pushing from Wargaming to want the players to learn more. But either way, Ultra Test 2 is on the way, and it's going to be sooner than you think. Just the other day, Wargaming made an announcement in their Discord server saying that Ultra Test 2 is coming soon. Within the week, we're going to have more information about it, and I don't know when we're going to actually have access to Ultra Test 2, but I'm going to say within the next month, we will have Ultra Test 2. Now, that's good and bad. It's good because I'm going to get a lot of views on the channel. It's bad, and it might also be bad for the game if Ultra Test 2 follows the same path of negativity the first one did. Things that we want better are sets, which Wargaming has obviously told us they're working on. We've seen some sneak peeks of the sets and how they are going to look more like tech trees. I'm just hoping that they're not confusing and they don't look obtrusive and ugly. So that's the first thing. I'm hoping that the grinding experience as a new player is not gate kept and that it's not a terrible experience. I'm also hoping that the game runs better. That's going to be one of the major things, is if the game runs better, right? I'm also hoping that commanders are better balanced and that Wargaming has done a proper job on putting skills into the game that previously didn't exist, like the repairs skill. That was a serious problem. I'm hoping that repairs make their way into the game. So there's a lot of things that I'm hoping that Wargaming does, and we'll have to see what happens there. But either way, that's my it's not a rant, it's just a talk about Reforged. I think that the future of the game has two paths. It's either going to grow or it's gonna decline. It's not going to stagnate. The Reforged update is going to be a big one, and I am nervously excited. That's what I'll say. I'm excited that Blitz is getting a revamp because it means it's a lot of new content, it's a lot of new game for me to make videos on. But I will say one of the biggest things I don't understand about Reforged is why Wargaming is making tier 10, tier 7 now. That is one thing I don't agree with. I think it's going to confuse a lot of players. And obviously newer players are going to understand it, but I have so many videos on the channel of tier 10s, which are now going to be considered tier 7s. It's just going to be goofy. You're really going to confuse a lot of the player base, and I don't understand why you're doing that, Wargaming. So that is one thing I would revert back to tier 10. If you want to remove tiers 1 through 3, then just remove them and then make the game start at tier 3. Then just do that. I just don't understand why we need to remove or change what is tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what I'll say. So we'll see. Either way, hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.